Everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone SE 2020 model and compare it against the iPhone SE 2022 model, the current one Apple is still selling, and see which particular phone is a better one for you. Now, I will always tell you the better phone is probably going to end up being the one that's probably the more expensive one, but I generally don't think you should buy either one of these. I think you're probably better off buying an iPhone 13 or an iPhone along those lines, maybe one generation above or new or older. If you want to pick up those iPhones, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these phones, very similar styling. Now, the iPhone SE 2 is on my left. The way I know this is because the coloring on the back that kind of indicates which one is which. And with the iPhone SE 2, you were getting a 4.7-inch panel. It looked basically the same exact thing as the iPhone 8, and it's an older type of styling, it's an older type of display, and that is kind of what's going on when you're getting this type of device. I mean, it is older, and that's just kind of the name of the game. You know, there's not really too much else we can really say about it. I think it's an okay panel, and I think it's very, very average. When it first came out in 2020, I thought it was like okay. Nowadays, these panels and designs are just very old. They still feel fairly expensive though, but it's just not that good looking of a phone. Especially the iPhone SE 3. This one has no excuse to looking like this. This one also has a 4.7-inch panel. It's a Retina panel. It's all good and everything. But again, the issue that we're getting with this panel is that it is significantly older. It does look outdated, and for Apple to still be selling a phone that looks like this, I think is honestly doing somewhat of a disservice for their sub $500 phone category. I think they could be doing a better job and probably making more money if they just kind of gave us a little bit of a better device. So definitely, I don't really think either one of these look that different from one another. From the side angle, basically almost the same thing too, but there's a slight difference in the coloring. I think you can actually tell over the camera this time. You can kind of see a little bit that both are a little bit different. They're both like this, supposed to be like the starlight or like the white color one, but you can kind of tell what's going on here too. The top, nothing really going on, but the iPhone SE 3 definitely has more of a yellowish tint to it, and that's exactly how I can tell which one is which. Now, I think over the camera you can't tell at all, but in person I can tell which one is which. I can tell which one's my iPhone SE 3 and iPhone SE 2. There's not really too many indicators that showcase which one is which, but the iPhone SE 3 is slightly more yellow than the iPhone SE 2. So if I were to go at like a different angle, maybe you could be able to tell, but I can tell just literally within 1 millisecond which one is which. The iPhone SE 3, which is right here, is a little bit more yellow. The iPhone SE 2 was way more brighter white. So that's the easiest way I'm able to tell which one is which. Single camera in the top left. Wireless charging here, you're getting the glass backs. And overall, they look fairly good. They still look fairly premium. There's not really too many things to complain about here. But definitely, I don't really think there's a big difference from the build quality that we've known that for a long time. From a software longevity perspective, you are going to be getting a long-lasting phone from the iPhone SE 3. This one is going to last a longer time, and that's just what happens when you're getting a newer phone. But I still think the iPhone SE 2 is still going to be here for a little bit of time. You're still going to be perfectly in good hands with a device like the iPhone SE 2. I think it's still going to be supported probably for the next 2 years or so. But if you want the longer lasting one, definitely that's going to be the iPhone SE 3. This one's going to be giving you the longer lasting device. And once again, that's just kind of what happens when you are getting the newer devices. These ones end up giving you a little bit better capability from that standpoint than the iPhone SE 2. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between this one and the iPhone SE 2. The iPhone SE 3 had that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 GB of RAM, where the iPhone SE 2 had that Apple A13 Bionic chip inside of it with 3 GB of RAM. So let's go see which one's the faster one between both. Okay, there we go. All the apps are cleared out in the background, as you all can tell. So let us get into it. Let's do phone calls, 3, 2, 1. Okay, kind of difference. Also, the iPhone SE 2 is on the left, iPhone SE 3 is on the right. So we're going to enter their app stores, 3, 2, 1. And kind of the same thing, not really that big of a difference. Scrolling through, you can kind of see this one was kind of glitching a little bit, but it really wasn't even that big of a deal. Hopping out of these two, so I'm going to do a different one, Mail 3, 2, 1. The problem I would always tell you, the problem I would always tell you within the app opening and closing of these particular phones is that sometimes you are seeing that when you close out of an application, it is a significantly slower experience hopping out of both, mostly because you are getting you have to wait until the home button is registered. And that can be something that can be kind of annoying when you're going through, and if you're just trying to go use a faster phone, even though this one has a faster chipset than the iPhone 12, this one feels slower than the iPhone 12 because you have to deal with the slowdown of clicking that button over and over again. So that can be kind of an annoying thing, but beyond that, it's not the biggest deal in the world. We have some other applications we can test out here too. We can do, Netflix, 3, 2, 1. And I think the SE3 was slightly faster, but it was still so close. Let's go and get into Facebook. 3, 2, 1. Again, I think the IC3 was faster there. Let's get into Thank You. 3, 2, 1. And this one, I think the SE3 again, like slightly faster, but it was still like very, very close between them both. Let's go into Snake versus Blocks. 3, 2, 1. And you can see the SE3 was slightly faster here a little bit. The SE2 was a little bit slower. So you can see what's going on here too. And basically the same thing. Let's go and get out of both of them. Let's do stack. 3, 2, 1. And you can see, at least in my opinion, I think the SE2 was kind of faster. I don't really know what was going on here either. Getting into some of this gameplay though. You can see this one, I mean, definitely glitching up a lot more there. I don't know what's going on with the SE2. Very, very weird. I don't know what's going on with this particular phone. I guess it must have been an ad or something that was kind of blocking it, but that was very weird. Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And with this one too, I mean, it's a pretty basic game. I think we all kind of know what's going on here too. And it looks like almost a tie. Like almost the same as I think going on for both of them, which is actually pretty crazy. So once again, if you're trying to get the phone that's going to be giving you a better experience, I mean, I really don't know from a performance perspective. Lots and lots of overlap here. Not really too sure what's going on, but I guess from a performance perspective, that kind of covers it up there if I'm being honest. Now from the camera side of things, you are getting very interesting camera layouts because they are almost identically the same type of camera. Apple really didn't change too much between the hardware of these two phones, and definitely when it comes down to the cameras, they're almost the same thing. 4K 60 on the back, 1080p on the front. Single camera lens, there's really nothing you're getting on the iPhone SE2 over the SE3 if I'm being honest, as far as I can remember. Now you're still maintaining like the same type of capability. Like you have the ability of taking a photo, video, slow-mo, time-lapse, you have, portrait mode and panorama mode. So you still have lots and lots of other things that are going on between both these devices, but there's really not that like big massive of a difference here, right? There's still a lot of similar stuff going on, and I don't really think there's that big of a difference here. Like I think it's definitely like a good camera that you're getting on the iPhone SE2, or it's like good enough. I think is the best way to describe it. I think with the iPhone SE3, this is also like a pretty good, device. Like I think it's an okay camera. You're getting video mode, slow mode, time lapse. You're getting portrait mode and panorama mode. But beyond that, you're not really getting anything else that's actually super crazy with this particular phone. Right? It's a pretty basic camera, and I think that's kind of it. Right? That's really all you're getting. And I think between both of these, they're almost identically the same type of camera and almost the same type of battery life as well. And there's just like so much overlap here that really the only thing you're paying for really is the better chipset and a little bit more RAM. Other than that, it's basically the same type of device all across the board. And that's kind of what's happening here, right? That is exactly what's happening here. So what I would tell you is like if you want the latest and greatest, I don't think either one of these are basically going to be giving you that. I think an iPhone 13 is a very good price to pay. This phone is $429 in the brand new market. You can buy an iPhone 13 in the used market probably for around that much. So it doesn't make any sense to buy this phone, but you can buy the iPhone 13, a way better phone, for like the same price. I think the SE2 was great when it first came out. I think it was good when it first came out, but I don't really think it's that good anymore either. I don't really recommend buying phones that look like this anymore. I think the iPhone 12s or newer are probably the better ways to go. So that pretty much covers it up here. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, not me so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.